Hi, I'm Liz, this is Mark and Kerry, and we are the judging panel for the New Illustrator Award.
This is Being Indy, written by Zoe Gaetjens and illustrated by Estee Sarsfield. I loved the way that Estee used black and white as a main colour focus, because it really highlights the fact that the main character, Percival, was all about control and not letting anybody else into his playground, whereas the other character, Indy, she was full of colour and was not being allowed into the playground because she had to then conform. So the black and white for me highlights the conformity that goes within the story, and the red of Indy's jacket and the red of the little bird that comes through the story highlights that of individuality and freedom. And also I think it's very clever the way that she's used angular triangles and squares and shapes like that for the black and white and for the conformity part of the story. So it's really supported the text through the way that she's illustrated that. And then Indy herself, the other main character who comes through, who's the real individual, is also quite rounded and quite flexible. But I think it's the colour palette that she's used that really stands out for me in this. And even the end papers are stunning, because even though they're angular and the first lot are black and white with just a touch of red in it, it just gives you that hint of what's about to come in the picture book, I think. So this is an amazing book that you really should have to read with your children. And as I said, as an illustrator, it's such a fresh approach illustratively to the themes of friendship and being brave enough to be an individual. And I think she's done such a fantastic job. So this is Save the Gumtrees, Bees and Big Blue Seas by Luke John Matthew Arnold. Now this is a fantastically bold, bright and rich colour palette that he's used to illustrate this book. I love the embossed cover, and I think children will love the embossed colour with the little hints of the animals and insects that have come throughout the book. But one of the things that I really love about it is the fact that each double page spread is filled with colour and filled with the illustration. There's very few, or there is no white space on any of the pages here. So when the children pick up this book to read it, they will see the beautiful colours of our Australian landscape, the beautiful colours of the world around them, and they will then want to know more about what's actually in the images. I love the fact that he's used that whole double page spread for the animals and the other creatures that he's depicted in his illustrations. And I think that you can look beyond those first initial larger illustrations to look at what's actually behind it and look at the setting and learn more about our beautiful Australian landscape.
This is Prayer for a River by Uncle Glenn Loughrey and Andrew Kelly. There have been quite a number of children's picture books about the long years of drought in Australia. And interestingly, after that, a number of books about the rain, the flooding and so on. This is about, it's a really gentle, meditative book, which allows a lot of reflection. Uncle Glenn Loughrey has given us a really interesting, broad spectrum of Aboriginal art styles. Now, when you look at them, they're very intensely illustrated. They're quiet, but they're patient and they've taken time. And that's what this book is about. For all the kids who are addicted to switch and kind of like the kind of work with video, this is one of those books that says, just slow down a bit. Build a relationship with the natural environment that is actually sacred in this book. It's a very beautiful book. Australia has one of the world's most fragile river systems. And the illustrations in this book are a plea to us to recognise that these rivers need our protection and we need their support. So it's symbiotic. The illustrations are absolutely beautiful. Too much to say about this book in just a few sentences. This is A Loo of One's Own by Eleri Harris. How could it be that when Australia's first Parliament House was built in the 1920s, it was built without a toilet for women? The first two women who are elected to Parliament are gobsmacked that this is the case. And One of the things that the illustrations in this book does, that first of all, the style is completely appropriate. It's got a kind of Art Deco palette, and it also has a kind of magazine comic strip style. It's very aligned with the 1920s and 30s, which is very breezy and fun. But in all this fun, there's quite a sharp point being made. Nothing much has changed in Australia. Bad planning, hard to believe. Sexism, the old patriarchy is operating. This book is going to give people a lot to think about, a lot to talk about, and it's also fun. The subtitle tells us a lure of one's own. Of course, that's Virginia Woolf. It's a riff on Virginia Woolf's comment that all a woman needs if she wants to create art is a room of one's own. Well, this is a lure of one's own. And the women come up with the most wonderful, inventive solution to having no toilet. It's a laugh a minute, and there's a very serious point underneath. And the illustration style takes us through quite a complex period of Australian history with a breezy energy that's really catchy. I love it. A lure of one's own. Eleri Harris, can't wait to see the next book.
This beautiful book is A Farm by the Sea, which is written and illustrated by Gillian Packer. In A Farm by the Sea, author and illustrator Gillian Packer explores her memories of her childhood growing up on an Australian coastal farm. These lovely illustrations are traditionally rendered with archival ink pen and watercolour. There is a real old world quality to these illustrations. It's the kind of thing Jane Austen might have had as a wallpaper, but the colour palette is really bright and the energy keeps it feeling really fresh and original. The illustrations are incredibly intricate, so the negative space on the pages is really cleverly used to help balance those scenes of gardens and beach and sea which are just teeming with life. There's a sense of movement on every page. The trees bend in the wind, seagrass floats in the water, the dog's stretching his back. The characterisations in the book are really strong. Realistic body language invokes that warmth between family members. We can see their relationships. Dad's waiting patiently, Gran is holding the girl on her lap. Repeated readings are really fun. You'll discover more and more details in the illustration, and it is that attention to detail that makes this a really special book. This is Beyond the Shore, which is written by Kirli Saunders and illustrated by Mark Chester Harding. At very first glance, these illustrations look simple, but the sophistication of texture, the colour palette and the framing bring this beautiful book to life, and there's really nothing simple about it. Sat on the coast, the sense of place is incredibly strong and it feels like you could step through the pages onto the beach. The foam on the edge of the shore is lit by the sun, the sand looks wet and there's billowing columns of cloud in the sky. Given the restraint in the use of colour and line, the characterisations are incredibly strong. We see the tenderness of the mother, the curiosity of the child, and it's established not so much through their facial expressions, but through the way the characters are positioned on the page and how they move. The changing perspectives through the illustrations draw you into Kirli Saunders' lyrical text. It extends on the themes of fear, curiosity, discovery and connection to the natural world. A special delight in this book is the colourful sea creatures who draw the child and me into the story. You just want to go out and explore.